derivatives rule, take 12. Alright, so we're going to start with derivative rules. Derivative rules are pretty easy and they help us so much. Alright, now what they are is, say we have a function x squared, and you're thinking, what do I do with the squared? I've never had that before. Oh my god. So instead of plugging it into the derivative function thingy, we're just going to use something called a power rule. And the power rule says that whenever you have x to the n, the derivative of it is n times x to the n minus 1. And n is any number. So for this, we're just going to implement it into this rule. So we end up with 2x to the 2 minus 1. Now that's just 2x. Alright. Take a second, look at that. I'll find my eraser. Alright. Next rule we're going to go over is the product rule. A product is, of course, multiplication. So say we have x squared times 5x. Alright? Now, to get the derivative for this, we're going to take, this is going to be our first one, this is going to be our second one. We're going to take the first one and multiply it by the derivative of the second one. And then we're going to add it to the derivative of the first one times the second one. Alright, so we're going to math this out real quick. We're going to end up with 5x squared plus 10x squared, which equals 15. That's supposed to be 5x squared. Alright, now this is pretty simple. Let's do another one with a product rule. Alright, say we have 6x plus, oh shit, 6x squared times 2x. Alright, that's our first one, that's our second one. We're going to plug this one in. Alright, so we have that, and of course, throw some primes around, make sure there's a prime on each side of the plus sign, and it's not the same thing twice, because that would be bad. Alright, so we're just going to do 6x squared times 2 plus, that's going to be 12x times 2x. What we're going to end up with is 12x squared plus 24x squared, which is 36x squared. Now, this rule really helps whenever you get into really big functions with a lot of multiplication in them, and make you just want to rip your hair out. Alright, next one we're going to do is the quotient rule. Now, it's the opposite of the product rule, because instead of multiplication, it's division. That's just not the opposite, but whatever. So we have, say, x squared, are you laughing at me? Over 5x. Now this is going to be our first one, and then this is going to be our second one. And this is the quotient rule. It's the derivative of the first one times the second one minus the first one times the derivative of the second one over the second one squared. Alright. So we end up with 2x times 5x minus x squared times 5 over 25 of x squared. 2x times 5x is 10x minus 5x squared, I'm sorry, that's 10x squared. So we get 5x squared. Remember, it's over 25x squared. Ooh, that's 5. X squared. So we get 1/5.